Taking a look at the trading week beginning February 26, we're going to be looking closely at stocks and treasury yields. Stocks, new all-time highs last week in the big three. The Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ all finished positive. The Russell, however, finished negative, so keep an eye on that dynamic. In terms of yields, third week in a row that U.S. Treasury yields finished higher, and next week we do have short duration, bond auctions, including 3 and 6 month T-bills and the 2-year note, 5-year note, and 7-year note auctions. So keep an eye on that. As I mentioned, third consecutive week of higher yields in the U.S., not stopping the stock market. Plenty of Fed speakers next week as we approach the quiet period before the March meeting. Next week, we get Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic, Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee, Boston Fed President Lisa Collins, New York Fed President John Williams, Cleveland Fed President Loretta Mester, and San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly. On top of that, early in the week, we get a speech from ECB President Christine Lagarde. You're going to want to watch that as well. Government shutdown talks again next week. On Friday, March 1st, we have a deadline for a partial government shutdown. It's worth mentioning, but probably not worth worrying about in terms of your market participation, but keep an eye on that anyway. Earnings and data. Earnings season is not winding down in terms of the number of reports. Still, it is in terms of the weight. And by that, I mean the ability of one stock to move an index and possibly even the entire market, like we saw last week with NVIDIA. Next week, we get 354 companies reporting that have market caps of $1 billion or more, including Berkshire Hathaway, Salesforce, Workday, Snowflake, NetEase, Dell Technologies, Lowe's, Macy's, TJX, Anheuser-Busch, and AutoZone. In terms of data, Monday, U.S. new home sales and Japanese inflation data. Tuesday, consumer confidence in Germany and the U.S., and also durable goods orders in the U.S. Wednesday, economic and industrial economic sentiment, and industrial sentiment in the EU, and the second estimate of Q4 GDP in the U.S. Thursday, German employment and inflation data, Canadian GDP data, and PCE price data in the U.S. That's going to matter a lot. And then Friday, we get EU inflation data. It's the new data, not revisions. Also, February ISM manufacturing in the US, that's the ISM PMI, along with construction spending and fresh February Michigan consumer sentiment data.